Hello there. Welcome back to the 10 of Business Studies. In this video, we want to look at a question paper of April 2021. This is from the province of KwaZulu-Natal. So we're going to look at it. It's a question that is our question 6 on this question paper. So our question 6 is on business operations and it's on purchasing function in particular. So we are given information before we are given the requirements of the question. So the information given is that purchasing function plays an important role in ensuring that raw materials are available at all times. Businesses do this to prevent stoppages during the production process. Sometimes, sometimes businesses are forced to buy raw materials on credit due to financial constraints and protected by the National Credit Act in this regard. So, on the requirements part, it reads with reference to the above statement, write an essay on the following aspects: outline the purpose of purchasing function, explain the activities of purchasing function, differentiate between cash payment and credit payment, advise businesses on the purpose of the National Credit Act. So we are going to start on the first point, which is outline the purpose of the purchasing function. But we know that the purchasing function, this is the division of a company that is responsible for acquiring the goods and services the business requires to operate. So basically, that's the description on, in terms of the purchasing function. It is responsible for acquiring the goods and services that are needed in that business. So basically, that's what we have. Then now on the purpose, on the first part, it deals at the purpose of the purchasing function. Why do we have the purchasing function? So you see that we have the purchasing function in businesses because we want the that function to be responsible to try to check the goods that have been received if they are in good conditions or not, or they are in good size, etc. So that if they are defected goods, they can be returned. So it's a responsibility of the purchasing function to identify if there are defects that are there in terms of goods received, so that they can make returns. So basically, that's one of the purposes, and also it is also there to check if goods received were according to specifications. Remember, did we receive goods that are of the price that we require? Are they the right goods that we need? Remember, these goods are some of them, they are inputs that we need to produce our goods that we are producing into our business. So if they are wrong inputs, obviously, they need to be checked. If we've got wrong inputs that we received, that in that case they have to be returned. So also, purchasing function also is there to make some negotiations with suppliers in terms of prices. If we need reduction in prices, those negotiations can only take place on the purchasing function level, that they are responsible for that. So basically, those are the purposes that we have. But according to this video, we have a list of those purposes that we have on our answer section. So you'd see that purpose of purchasing function, we have various points that we are giving there. The first one is manage stock to ensure sufficient level of stock to carry out business operations. So obviously, the basic function is there so that there are no shortages in terms of goods that are required in the business. If there are inputs, we have the right level of stock of those inputs, so that there will be no stoppages in terms of the production process. No bottlenecking can be experienced if we have a purchasing function. So second point is continuously looking for best or reputable suppliers. So purchasing function is the one also which looks for better suppliers. So next point, make regular contact with other business departments to determine their needs. And then we have got send damaged goods back to the supplier and see to it that it is replaced. So these are intent. Then receive information that all goods were according to specifications and the price invoice as the quoted price. So these are the points that are explaining the issue of the purpose of a purchasing function. So we have other points also that are supporting the purposes of purchasing function that we can also include in our answer section. So we go to the next part of the question, which is explain activities of our purchasing function. So we are going to see that the purchasing function is involved in different activities. For example, it is supposed to place orders with the suppliers and follow up on them to make sure that if we made an order, did the supplier make it up to us by maybe supplying those goods that we had ordered. So basically, that's one of the activities, and also it is one of the activities also is to look for a suitable or a new and better supplier. So basically, that's what we have, and also to ensure that ordered products are delivered on time. And that's another activity that is involved by the purchasing function. But we also have a list of those activities listed in our answer section. So we have these activities that we are having, and well, the first part is saying PSS should have expert knowledge of the product they need to buy and about the market in which they operate. So they need knowledge of the product they need to buy and about the market in which they operate also. So that's becomes another activity in terms of acquisition of knowledge in terms of products that is to be bought and about the market in which they operate. Then you go to the next point to find out the needs. So they are also to make sure that they engage with other business departments that are there in the business to identify their needs so that they can order those goods that are needed in those departments. Then look for stable, new and better suppliers, and then ensure there's enough stock available for continuous production and sales. Place orders with suppliers and follow up with them. Ensure that ordered products are delivered on time. So these are the points that we have, but we have other points also that are also within the context of activities of the purchasing function. So we go to the next part of our question, which is different between cash payments and credit payment. But we know that cash payments involves actual cash movement when those goods are being bought, whereby credit payments, there's no movement of cash when we are buying the goods, but we are going to pay after a preset date, that is after some time. So that's what we have in terms of credit payment. So we are going to differentiate between the two. So we have got the differences that are there, and they are presented in a table form. So we have got cash payment, a column for cash payment, and then a column for credit payment. So all the first difference, money, a cash payment, other cash payment, money exchanged directly when goods and services are delivered. But other credit payments, there is buying of goods and services on credit with an intention of paying later. So that's the first difference. The second, it does not have interest charge. Cash payment does not attract any interest because you are paying there. Whereby credit payments, it normally has interest charges on products. And that's another difference that we can also try to include. Then we have other differences that are there on this page. We are saying the other difference that we can also include is that there are no contractual obligations in this way of payments, no contractual obligations, but other kinds of payment, there are contractual obligations both the business and the consumer must sign. So here we are saying must sign. There are contractual obligations both business and consumer must sign. Remember, they must sign because it's an agreement that we are going to make, that we are going to pay later. So for the supplier to have your words, you have to sign. Then the last point is it is paid in full, and there are no monthly installments. That is the cash, the payment. The credit payment, it is paid in installments on an arranged plan. So there should be an arrangement in terms of how we are going to pay in installments. So basically, that's what the last difference that we have. And obviously, we are now going to the last part, whereby this will be the additional part whereby you're going to advise the business on the purpose of National Credit Act. So purpose of National Credit Act, remember, it is there to ensure that there are registrations of credit bureau and debt cancelling services. So the issue of registration again becomes one of the main purposes of the National Credit Act. And then also it is there to make provision for the establishment of their national credit regulator. So those are some of the purposes that we can also include. It also it is there basically to promote fair but a competitive credit market. So basically, it becomes another purpose. So we have also those purposes on our answer section that we can try to go through in terms of the National Credit Act. So we have the first purpose saying promote the social and financial interests of consumers. And then secondly, promote a fair but competitive credit market, and ensure that consumers know what is included in their credit contracts, and then prevent discrimination and ensure credit is available to all consumers. Make provision for the establishment of the National Credit Regulator, and we ensure registration of credit bureau and debt cancelling services. So those are the tables of information of X that we have. So this is what we have, guys, according to this video. More typical examination questions will be uploaded on this channel. So let's stay tuned. Let's subscribe and share. Let's meet again in the next video.